Heya! It's me, Wild Neptune. And this is going to be an Epic 7 video. It's all about that ever important and scarce resource, Molagoras. So what are Molagoras? Well, they're those things you have to use to skill up your heroes. Let's go here to our hero page. Skill enhance. As you see, they require these things called Molagoras. The more you level them up, the more you need. You're also gonna need some catalysts here. These little red ones are Molagora Goes, and they count as 4 Molagoras. These hearts you get by getting to Friendship 10 with the hero. So, Ravi here is Friendship 9, and she'll get those 3 hearts when she gets to 10. If you're already plus 15, like she is, then you will get 3 Molagoras instead. Keep in mind that the hearts can only be used on the characters that are 10 friendship. So, some ways you can get Molagoras. Every week, you should be buying the 2 from the Transmit Stone shop. They cost 15 of these each. You should also be getting the 1 from Conquest Points. The seed can be grown in the Forest of Souls. For a Molagora is 150 points here. As long as you do your weekly arenas, this should come to you just normally. Also, once you can join a guild, you will have the opportunity to buy 1 from there for 250 of the crests. So as long as you donate, you know, your gold every day, you'll have more than enough to buy the Molagora from the guild shop. There are some one-time only Molagoras. One of them is from Unrecorded History, where if you fully max out your stars here by doing a stage. So, as you probably know, each stage will have some quests to do, basically. And then the last one is a Molagora Seed. That also holds true for episodes 2 and for episode 3, which we only have a few chapters of right now. The side story will also hold a Molagora in the exchange, so I already bought that. Hall of... what do you call it? Hall of Trials. Right here. There is a quest you can do. It is harder to do. It's in Dagasakar. I believe you have to be max rank. Well, rank 65 to unlock this. I don't remember when it happens, because it's new, right? But if you're strong enough, you have a quest for like 1 time 3 Molagoras. It is pretty hard. Hard enough where I haven't actually done it myself yet, but they are there. Sometimes too, World Boss in Guild will drop a Molagora. That's pretty rare, so don't really count on that. Also, every month, the Auto Tower to try to get a couple. I believe there are 3 in Auto Tower. The last one is on floor 90. Of course, there is some in Abyss as a one-time only for that. And there will be also some when they do a web event, like this one here, where you just complete some basic tasks that you would do anyway, like play adventure modes, hunt, stuff like that. And one of the rewards will usually be a Molagora somewhere. 1. Is the character going to be used in PvE or PvP? A lot of PvE content, characters used exclusively for that don't need a lot of Molagoras. So let's say I'm using my Water Rose, right? Now, Water Rose is a character that can be used in PvP. And in PvP, you probably want her S3 maxed out. However, because I don't use her in PvP, all I needed was like no molas. She has 3 here because of the 10 friendship bonus, but that's it. Same thing with Karen. Only used her in PvE. The 10 friendship gave me the 3 skill ups here, and you know, I'm perfectly fine with that. Other characters I only basically used for PvE content right now is Bologna, and she has no skill ups. She'll have 3 in a little bit when she gets to friendship 10, and she does what I needed to do perfectly fine. I still use her a little bit to this day. There are going to be characters though you use in PvE that do need Molagoras. So Tamarin is one of them. Tamarin is a healer, and she does require probably max S2 and 1 of the S1. I would not try to min-max it to get the 10 friendship to like cover this, right? I would just do it right away. She has 4 here because one day I accidentally put a point into this. So you know that was an oof for me. But you will use, if you have her, you will definitely use her enough where you won't feel bad about this. Even if you only use her in PvE. Another target you might want to Molagora is something like Sigrid. She's a DPS. Probably only can be used for PvE. But because she's used so often in very important piece of content, Wyvern 13, you might want to, you know, boost the damage up a little bit. Same thing for a unit like Baiken, who's not good right now because she's a Wyvern, not a Wyvern, a Banshee 13 unit. And if you want to do the one-shot team with her, you'll probably have to put some points into her skills in order to get that damage high enough. So most of the time, if a skill has decreased cooldown on it, you probably want to pick it up. So let's look at SSB here. See here that her skill enhance on her S3 has a decreased cooldown on the S3 for 3 Molagoras. You probably want to at least get that. At the same time, she also has an effect chance bonus for the next skill up. You probably want to get that too, because it means it reaches 100%. So look here, you'll see that normally be 85%, so and it's 15% here for Molagora bonuses to get to 100%. That is, of course, a chance to check if it lands, not if it actually lands the debuffs. However, not all cooldowns are created equal. There's some units that do have decreased cooldown, and it doesn't really matter. So take one here, like I have too many characters. Let me just do this here. Like Vivian, who has a 1-turn cooldown on the S3. Now, this puts it to 5 turns. The thing is that in almost no circumstance, once she uses her S3 the first time, is she ever gonna last 5 more turns to use it again. She's just not really used in teams like that. Maybe in the future, that'll change a little bit, but, you know, as of right now, it's just not something that happens. Same thing for a unit like Kairon, who has his S2 skill ups, can decrease the time it takes to get immortality back by 3 turns down to 6 turns. The thing is that in no match I've ever been in has Kairon ever lasted 6 more turns after he procs his passive the first time? Ever. In like the history of me playing the game. So I would also say this is kind of a cooldown trap. Another thing you might want to look at are the roles the character's going to play. So Alencia here, she's a bruiser character, and that simply means a character that is going to sacrifice some immediate super burst damage for more longevity. So her fights are going to last a little bit longer most likely. And this means that it is more important than other characters to skill up her all of her skills basically. Because yes, you want to skill her S3 obviously for the damage, and her S2 for the passive damage. But also, she's a character who's going to use her S1 quite a bit probably, so you want to get that skilled up too. Same thing for characters say like Charles here, where because the way his kit works and it synergizes with each other, you want to try to get as many skill ups as possible in his attacks because his S2 can proc off of his S1. Same thing for a unit like ML Ken, where his S2's damage is affected by his S1 skill ups. However, there are some characters that only really do one particular thing. So take a unit like Watcher Shuri, where, you know, it would be nice to have points into his S1 and S2, but all he really does is bring a speed imprint, and he has a big burst that ignores defense on the S3, and this is really all you need for him. Similar to a unit like Judge Kisei. Now, I do have points in the S1 because I just really like her and I plus 15'd her. But if you use her in a cleave team, she only really needs the S2 and the S3, and you can quite realistically just ignore the S1. If you build your Celine just to counter A-Lots, you can just invest in the S2 and ignore the S1 and S3. Mine's built a little bit differently, but hey, if that's all she's going to be used for, no reason to waste resources in the other skills that she's not going to be using most of the time. Another factor you might want to look at when you spend your Molagoras is how often will I be using said skills? So let's take ML Haste here, who has an S3, a passive, and the basic skill. The S3 is on a 5-turn cooldown, which is pretty long, and you don't actually always use this when it's up. Sometimes you save it for like a turn or two. That means you'll be using this S1 a lot. And even though he doesn't do like a ton of damage, 15 bonus damage, even like 30% if I get the last skill up in it eventually, is gonna add up over time. In high-end fights, that could be a pretty big difference, especially when you consider that ML Haste is drafted quite a bit and will have a lot of longevity in fights. Similar to a unit like Fallen Cecilia, who also has an S3 on a long cooldown, and an S1, and that's it. She has the passive, which is not a skill. So she'll be using this S1 a lot in the battle. Keep in mind too, that when a character counterattacks, they do counterattack with the S1. So any character you put on a counter set will probably want skill ups in the S1 ability. Put in Molagoras to stretch characters for the maximum potential. So take a unit like DN here. Just by looking at her skills, you can probably sense that getting S2 and S3 maxed out is important and a must-do if you use her. However, her S1, you'll see that she has a small CR boost attached to it. Now, is this necessary to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 Molagoras to get the 5%? Probably not. This is one of those things that you do if you really like DN and you really want to maximize her. A unit I did that with is Rowana. I maxed her S1, obviously, and her S2. But I put some points into her S1 to get some bigger barriers when she goes. Same with G Purgus. I used to use my G Purgus a little bit for PvP outside of Wyvern before he was super important in it. And you know what? I wanted to put a little bit of skills into S1 to get, a little bit of bonus of the provoke chance for return, and some, a little bit of tiny extra damage too. Other units you might want to do it for is Carbon for the provoke chance. Athletica has increased blind on the S1. Watcher Shuri has increased target. It just really depends on what their use cases are going to be and how often you might be using them in those use cases. Eventually, you'll be in a position where you have no Molagoras, but you want to raise characters. What do? Well, you can always raise 3-star characters. There are a bunch of 3 stars like Amomo, Adventurer Raz, Doris, things like that. Celerina, Mersa is okay. And the beauty about 3 stars is that they don't require Molagoras. Instead, they'll use Stigma. They still have the catalyst cost attached to them, but it is a resource that is not time gated, so you will be able to get them relatively quickly. Keep in mind that not all 3 stars are going to be good. In fact, most of them are not. But there is quite a bit of them that will see at least niche play in PvP and some PvE content as well. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, found it helpful. If you have any questions, be sure to ask. Join my Discord or hop into the stream when I'm on. Links will be down in the description. If you have any doubts about if this skill up is worth it, make sure you just ask the community. People are always willing to help. It's a very, if anything, vocal community of players. Anyway, I am Wild Neptune. It's been a good one. Nep out.